Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another Ask Your Mentor Anything Live. And today, again, we have Ileana. I know that she's one of the most beloved guests that we have so far. Among Luna and Ileana, also they are members of the alumni. So we keep having some topics that we know that is of your interest. So this is a hot topic that we have today. So let me know if you can hear me well, if the sound of the picture is okay, and if we are live everywhere, because I think there is a problem with LinkedIn. Just remove the destination. Okay, and then re-add it. Okay. So let me know if you can hear me, if the sound is the picture is okay. Hello, Ileana. Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks. I'm so excited to be here with you and to speak
I'm
about
so
this topic.
excited, and there are so many people are waiting for this topic. So I think there will be much of interaction on this topic as well. And I find it as a hot topic because it was one of the best ways of getting clients. So I see people watching us, so let me know. Let us know, guys, in the comments where are you watching us from, and if the sound of the picture is okay, if you can hear us, if you can see us well. Before we start sharing also the slides, because they're going to be slides. Ileana, she's always creating some slides to accompany her presentation. So let us know, and also let us know which country you're watching us from. Okay, and definitely if you're watching us from YouTube, Facebook, where you're tuned, because I see that there is a problem with LinkedIn. I will make another try because I know that many people are waiting for us on LinkedIn as well. So use the chat below for any kind of questions regarding today's topic. And we're going to talk about how Ileana has been using as an interpreter and translator exhibition and live events to get her high-end clients. Okay, now I think we're live. Perfect. Okay, so we
Yeah.
are on LinkedIn as well. So let me know. Hello, Dorota. Thank you for joining us. Greetings to Poland. I see that you're watching us from Facebook. Is it the Facebook group or the Facebook public page? Hello, Genevieve, Muni, watching on Facebook. Perfect. Okay, amazing. So everything is okay. So let's start right away. Thank you, and say hello in the chat. Also, you can share your insights, any your successes or challenges you've been facing getting clients through live events, networking, and if you have, of course, questions for Leanne and myself, I will be sharing the part where I gain clients also through networking, but also as an exhibitor because I've done that in the past. On a consistent basis. And Ilianas is going to share how visiting as just a visitor and attending like live events and industry events where your direct clients hang out, she has been using this method actively to gain clients. And of course, apart from LinkedIn, that she is very successful with LinkedIn prospecting, Iliana, she uses a lot. Greetings to Switzerland. Amazing. Hello, Matthew. Thank you for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions. And of course, I would be very much interested in knowing if you use exhibition and live events and networking to live events to get clients. Amazing. Hello to Ireland. If you're using Facebook, use the StreamYard link you will see in the description box to be able to see your name. So thank you everyone for joining us live. And let's start, Ileana. A bit of description about you, your business model, and how you've been using exhibition yourself before we start presenting, let's say, the main 5-step you mentioned is a 5-step framework you have gathered. Okay, amazing.
Yes, let's say there are five main steps. Then
I
there
like
are
this. I like
so
the
many
way.
details. But in order to recap, there are five main steps that you
Let's
have
do it.
to follow. Let's say
So a
in
brief
order.
description of yours for those that they don't know you already, okay? And the reason why did you choose this topic? And then we get into and let me know when you're ready to share the slides.
Okay, so I'm Ileana. I am a freelance translator and interpreter since 2006. And I worked both as a consecutive interpreter on exhibitions mainly, and as a translator until the pandemic. And then I had to, let's say, to refocus my business and to focus more on translation instead of interpreting.
Mhm.
But since last year, many live events started again. I started working as an interpreter again, and so I also visited some exhibitions in order to gain clients. And yes, I translate from German, English, and French from into my native Italian. And I also outsource other languages. And yes, I started before the pandemic being, let's say, a little boutique agency.
Mhm.
And yes, so attending an exhibition, being a visitor on an exhibition is always a good way to, let's say, to network and to meet existing clients, because some of them invite me to visit their booth, for example. And it is also a good chance to meet new potential clients. And so I
I
can
agree.
yes,
That's a
and
super
so I can explain you, let's say, the best ways to approach clients, because I worked so many times on the booth, and I know how the exhibitions develops a bit. So, and you have to be careful, because of course everybody is there to work and to sell, and so they are not properly interested in buying something. But if you offer a good solution, of course, and if you show genuine interest in their products, in their business,
exactly.
of course you will have a chance to get in touch with them.
Amazing. So definitely that's the secret. I think the most common mistake we do when we go to such events is actually going and presenting ourselves, whereas people there, and especially exhibitors, are there to gain business. And of course, they might be interested in what you do, and your service might be of their interest, but you need to start with a genuine interest in their services or their business or their products before you start presenting yourself. That's something that should happen naturally
Yeah,
after a
yeah.
point attending, because I see Genevieve's comment here. I've been to exhibitions, she says, but with
Mhm.
no success at all. The only guy who was interested finally chose to give the translation to a student, which was cheaper. So thank you for comment, Genevieve. I would be very much interested, Genevieve, to know what you did in order to approach your clients at an exhibition. Definitely, I would suggest you to listen to this presentation with the framework of Ileana. Let us know what you've been doing or not, and you could integrate in your strategy. Hello, Antonia. Thank you for joining us live. So thank you guys for joining us. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions, and definitely we'd love to hear your insights and how you've been using exhibitions or live events to get clients. Okay, so as to be able to see your name from Facebook, you need to click the StreamYard link, so I cannot see your name. I think it's Aaron. Who is this? I've never attended an exhibition before. I'm not sure if you will answer this question later in the presentation, but how many would you recommend attending? Let's say over a year. Of course, I will cover this. Not over a year. I will show you how and my strategy on this, and we can discuss it further. So thank you for your questions and your insights and for being interactive. Let's start, Ileana, with your framework. And of course, I will share also my insights being an exhibitor myself, because it's not only attending is for free sometimes.
Yeah.
So definitely a great way to start, especially when you don't have a budget. Exhibiting is another path when you need to invest in this as to become an exhibitor, but definitely pays off, at least in my experience. And I can share with you some tactics, hacks that you can do this with less, let's say, budget. And of course, let's start with Ileana. And of course, we cover. Susie says, I will be attending my first trade show in late March. So this has come at a good time for me. Amazing. Susie, can I ask you what type of trade show and what type of trade show and clients you would like to get there? It's really interesting also to tailor your approach to the types of clients you're going to approach. Okay, amazing. So how to get the most out of your visit at an exhibition, and definitely as a client acquisition strategy, how to use exhibitions and trade shows to get direct clients most of the times. Ileana, the stage is yours.
Yes, so of course there are plenty of exhibitions and live events, and you have to choose the ones who are, of course, linked to your specializations or something that you would like to go deeper into, in order to yes, to get the most out of it. For example, I sometimes had to choose between two exhibitions, because sometimes they overlap. And if the client, for example, asks you to be there, you have to reject, for example, the second proposal. And so I decided, for example, to visit this second exhibition that
Okay.
I was not present on. And so it depends on your, let's say, on your goals, because you would like to, for example, to gain more clients, to meet existing ones, to do also networking. So this applies not only to exhibitions in general, but also to live events, for example, as industry conferences and so on. And it depends most on the time that you decide to dedicate on it. Because, for example, I usually visit fairs and exhibitions only for one day
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have too much time, and so I normally dedicate only one day. But of course, you can decide to go for 2 days, for example, or 3 days, or the whole period, for example, of the fair. Of course, it's an investment, so it depends on you, on how much money you would like to invest on it. Because of course, if you stay for 2 or 3 days, of course you have to also to organize an accommodation, so you have travel fees and so on. So I normally dedicate, for example, only one day at least per exhibition, let's say.
And for you is enough because you get results. So you can show us how by spending just one day at an exhibition, you can get the most out of it. But let's sum up about the goals, because the goals are really important. It's the strategy behind of everything that you do as a client acquisition strategy. What are your goals, as you mentioned? That's really important. Are you going there to network with existing clients, as you mentioned? Are your goals is to book meetings with exhibitors, or what might be the goals? What's the difference here? Can you sum up with the goals?
Yes, as far as me is concerned, my main goal is always to contact new clients, to gain potential clients. But I also do networking, for example, when I have pauses, when I have free time, and for example, also networking. So because, for example, it happened, for example, last year that I decided to visit an exhibition together with a colleague, and she had different language combinations, and so we decided to partner together.
Mm-hmm.
And to yes to let's say to present ourselves as a let's say as business partners.
Exactly, and I remember we did that at a very big exhibition happening in Portugal with some other colleagues. So we got a chance to be able to cover more services and different fields of expertise and also language combinations. So that's a great idea if you have someone who would be interested in the same event, especially if the event is huge, because it also depends on the size of the exhibition. There are some exhibitions that might
Yes.
happen locally, so there the expenses is less. You don't need to book accommodation, you don't need to have more travel expenses if, let's say, the exhibition happens to your city or where you're based as a company. Whereas if you choose to go abroad or to another city to take part at such an exhibition, then you need to have more expenses like travel expenses, airplane tickets, accommodation. Uh, so there, you decide accordingly to your budget. Matthew says here that he's focusing increasingly on artistic translation. That's really interesting. So I'm creating a calendar of relevant events. I think the points to be covered today can be applied to gallery exhibitions and openings, private viewings, etc. What's your answer here, Ileana?
Well, yes, I think so, because any type of event
Exactly.
in which there is people, of course,
Exactly.
you can get in touch with them
Mhm.
very easily, if of course you are interested and of course prepared. So I think that yes, these points can apply to any live event.
Let's go to the preparation stage there, which is really, really important. Most of us will
Yes.
miss some parts there with the preparation because, okay, the goals are great. We need to decide beforehand what are our goals, the timings that we have there, the budget that we need to invest. And let's go to the actual preparation for the event.
Yes, as I told you, so normally the exhibitions are pretty big, pretty huge. There are so many exhibitors.
Okay, so can you let's say share with us the numbers approximately, like when you mean big and many exhibitors, like
Well, for example, last year in Bologna there were nearly 3,000 exhibitors.
exhibitors?
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite big. But I remember the one that I was referring to actually in Portugal was 80,000.
Oh my God.
So it's always a matter of the size, but definitely both of them, okay, and especially based on your experience, can be quite big exhibitions, and you need quite enough of material also to have prepared.
Yes, of course, and take into consideration that you are alone and you have to go on foot, so you don't have to take so many, let's say, or business cards or letters and so on, because of course they weigh a lot.
Exactly.
And so that's why I decided I normally do this way. So I decide to focus, for example, on a specific country or on
Okay.
a specific type of exhibitor. For example, as far as beauty exhibitions is concerned, that is one of my specialization. For example, I
So it is an
decided to,
exhibition for cosmetics in general, where
yes,
cosmetic brands exhibit. So that's one idea. I can give more
yes,
ideas.
you can, for example, focus only on, I don't know, perfumery, only on, for example, organic products, and
And there are
something like
so
that.
many exhibitions. I will share with you a link that I found recently where
Yeah.
there is a website that gathers all the events that happen internationally. So I will share this in the chat and let me know, guys, if you found that helpful, because I've been gathering such information for my mentees in the Fully Booked Translator formula. So it's a good idea for you to brainstorm and come up with ideas where you can find clients, because clients, guys, are everywhere. It's a
Yeah.
matter of timing that they have a project for you and good preparation of yours, that it means that you have the right material to show to them so as to build that trust. So in terms of preparation, Ileana?
Yes, in terms of preparation, for example, I always look at the exhibitors list, and I try to, yes, to refine and to look for a smaller group of companies, depending, for example, on the country
Mhm.
or on the type of product or per brand, for example. And so once I have a, let's say, a restricted list, a limited list of exhibitor, then I focus on them. And of course, you have to prepare, for example, a cover letter or a press kit, or you can have both. You can have them both digital, because of course, in order to to save space in your bag, and not to be, yes, not to have a heavy bag, of course.
Exactly.
You can think of, for example, of a cover letter and a press kit, digital,
You
for
have them
example,
printed
on
initially. The
a,
main idea is to have them printed for a specific number of exhibitors you would like to reach out. Is that correct?
yes, for example, last year I had, for example, more or less 100 copies of
Okay.
printed letters, and so it was more or less, I don't know, like a kilo in my bag, so
Wow.
not so much.
Yeah.
And but otherwise, if you plan to visit more clients, and of course you need more, yes,
We have
more
a great
machine.
question. What is a press kit? And I was about to ask you to explain, because, okay, we know it, but let's give an idea, because there might be different press kits, Genevieve, but let's discuss with the press kit that we create. So, Ileana, if you would like to share your own, and then I will share mine.
Yes, so in the press kit, I always have, for example, a company profile.
Mhm.
So let's say my history starting from the beginning, and let's say the different specializations that I
Mhm.
have,
Mhm.
the benefits that I offer to my
Mhm.
clients,
Mhm.
and yes, and that's it.
And what's the difference? Because I know that the next question will come up. What's the difference between company profile and portfolio? I know that.
Well, in the portfolio, there are only, let's say, a small amount of experiences of satisfied clients that are grouped there in order to show your expertise. whereas the company profile, let's say it's a bit more general. So you
Exactly.
can,
The company profile should include in general your service and what you have to offer to your clients as a company. Can be a printed format of your website information, of course, in a shorter format of a website. Usually includes the about section, description of your services, your fields of expertise, industries that you cover, service that you offer, and of course a call to action, contact details, like a short description of your website there.
yeah,
And I would definitely, a hack here is, because it's a printed format, you can definitely adjust it to the relevant event. So if it's about cosmetics, and let's say you offer 3 different specialization, you cover 3 different industries, you can have one specifically created for these events if you would like to see it seriously, okay, and get clients through those events. So one is to tailor your content, first of all, to prepare the content, and then to
yeah,
tailor the content. For example, for me as an agency, I have created 3 or 4 different types of content because, for example, when I attended a very, like, what to say, a modern update event in Portugal about startups and tech and artificial intelligence, and my company focuses on, let's say, sworn certified legal translation, but I offer also localization services. I didn't, let's say, share the company profile that talks about legal and certified translation, because I know that the primary, let's say, need from our service would be a website and app localization service. So what I did, I reprinted the new business cards with as tech as it gets. So I had a QR code there because I knew I was going to a tech event, and I was my content in my company profile, the flyers that I had to share there, because I usually have a company profile that's bigger. I have a 1 page or 2 pages flyer, which is shorter and more affordable, and I have a business card there. So what I did is actually create business cards and flyers, which is less expensive, let's say, to adjust them to the right specialization, talk to them about this kind of service they would be interested in, and create a bit of a techie, let's say, their aspect, like the QR code, and talking about web localization apps and so on, that I knew that they would be interested in such an information. So yes, one thing is to be prepared, to know how many people you're going, okay, to meet, to have as many as you can, depending on where the event is located, and if you can carry as many as you can. Because for me, if it was in Athens, I had my car, I could have more than 1 kilo. For Ileana, if she was traveling, she could have some limitations on her traveling, let's say, kilos she could have with her. So also there is a limitation to the printed format, and that's why we suggest you to have QR codes and electronic also gadget that you can share with those people, so as to find you also online and share with them this information also online. That also happens with the follow-up, of course. And the second, for me, hack here, and a very important, I don't know if you had to add that later on, Ileana, is to tailor your content. Ileana is focusing a lot on cosmetics, so I suppose, Ileana, most of your content and print material is focusing on cosmetics brands.
Yes, of course. So being interested in this area, in this sector, of course, the press kit and the cover letter and so on was focused on this on this field.
Is the cover letter you present at exhibition just a printed cover letter you usually send to clients, or it differs in some way? We have one question, but we cannot see your name. You need to click the StreamYard link so as to be able
No,
to
for example, I I offer something special, for example, a special discount to new clients. If they, for example, if they, I always use a code, and after the fair, they can get in touch with me using this code, and so that they remember me. And I have a reference, of course, when I am back in my office. And yes, it's not, let's say, a normal cover letter. Is of course tailored to the exhibitors of that specific exhibition, and of course on the specific needs, let's say, of the exhibitors, because in the preparation phase, when you look at the different brands and exhibitors and so on. So I always look for something interesting to speak about when I visit them. And so, yes, that's why the preparation phase is really very important, because
Let's talk about this later on, because we have one question about how to start natural conversations. But to sum up with the preparation stage, which needs to have the print material, a cover letter is what Ileana described for her own case. For me, it's more or less, yes, a cover letter is sent to the clients tailored to the exhibitors. So I address the letter to them using their titles, most probably. If it's a thematic, let's say, exhibition to tourism, I address it to tourism companies. And what I usually do is actually I have either some handwritten part, or I sign it manually, let's say, so as to see a bit
I
of
also sign it
personalization.
manually.
And I attach a business card, which I hand over. And the main idea is actually I include also a discount code where they can get a 10% discount or something else by contacting me through the specific code I include in that cover letter. So it's also for, as Ileana mentioned, to remember you, but also it's a reason, a motivation to contact you. Doesn't always have to be a discount. Can be like you offer them a free consultation, or you offer them a free review of their website. It's depending on your service that you offer, something, a reason to motivate them to contact you after the event and to remember you.
Yeah, that's right. That's the main
Did
purpose.
we answer? Yes, your question about the press kit. For me, a press kit is usually I have a folder printed with my logo and contact details, where I include usually some printed formats: the company profile, the flyer, which is a shorter format, and I can print more than the other, so I can have spare flyers to share. A business or a couple of business cards with a QR code, and then the cover letter, which is handwritten or manually signed off by me with a code or something. And then you can always in the press kit have something about your previous experience, like portfolio, or you can have like gadget, as has here Ileana, like a gift, like usually have can be from how to say that. Can you mention some gifts? I remember I had
yes, you can have, for example, key holders, a pen, or a notepad, something nice, but really very little.
Last time I had pens and notebooks for both my translation business and my coaching business.
Yeah.
Pens are always useful, and they stay and they see your logo and your services there. The notebook is also useful because we use it during the exhibition. So also we take it back at the office and we see you every day. I've seen also paper clips, or how we say that the book page holders with your logo. And
yes, also this one.
I've done that in the past. So yes, I think we covered the preparation stage. Thank you for your reply, people say here. So you're welcome. Another question is, do you attend exhibitions only in your country or abroad as well, Ileana? I think that question is for you.
Yes, at the moment only in my country, mainly Milan and Bologna. And I'm not, let's see what happens. So I'm not closed to the idea of visiting something abroad.
Yeah, for me, Dorota, we cannot see your name because you haven't clicked the StreamYard link. Thank you for your question. So for me, it's mostly about getting results. Usually the industry events in your country, especially if they have to do something with the internationalization, they will always use your language combination. So let's say, Antonia, you satisfy the Italian needs if you go for Italian brands that they would like your services abroad. And also you will be surprised by the number of events that happen locally at your country or even your city, that there are so many that maybe they cover your needs. But I know, for example, translator friend of mine, but also other colleagues, that they go abroad to Germany, for example, for the biggest, let's say, sports events, or biggest, let's say, very niche down events that you cannot find locally, so as to find the biggest international brands. It's such an event. Yes, if you have the budget, you need to choose strategically. Again, since we are talking about strategy here, the step number 2, if your client is based there, or if you know that your direct clients, they attend such events, if there are hotels, if there are sports brands, outdoor brands, or if there are startups or tech brands that they visit a specific exhibition that's abroad, I would definitely consider that to include it in my budget. If not this year, at least the next year, just to know the investment and to include it in my budget. I don't know, Antonia, if we have replied to your question. And Antonia, we would love to hear your insights, because I know that you're very also active and very successful in your field. So let us know your opinion.
I normally plan it at the end of the year, or the beginning of the year, when I plan, let's say, the activity to be done during the year.
Mhm.
But yes, when sometimes, when, for example, something new happens, or for example, I notice that there is something interesting for me, so I can also join without having planned it. So it
Sometimes, yes,
depends.
if the budget allows us and if we know that we
Yes,
can
of
do it,
course.
we can. I remember when I started out that I was following every page and I was clicking, going to each event of Facebook homepage, on LinkedIn homepage, was the algorithm to be educated about the events that I would be interested. And then a lot of marketing opportunities were coming to my homepage because of my activities. So the algorithms are really important to be educated, to show them that you're interested in some events by clicking going, saving the events. So as the algorithm of LinkedIn and Facebook to know when to bring in front of you and inform you about similar events. I think some of the biggest opportunities of mine came from such social media means because I was very active educating the algorithm, and also not for the purpose of educating the algorithm, because I was genuinely interested in some events, and then consequently the algorithm was educated about, and I came up with very, very good opportunities. And also as an exhibitor, since I'm sharing here my preparation and my experience as an exhibitor in such events, I remember that there were many opportunities for companies that they belong to specific chamber of commerces to become exhibitors at some events with the help of the chamber of commerce or the help of the government by giving you some kind of part of the money, or if not the whole participation to the exhibition as exhibitor. So you save so much money of the event investment, and definitely is. I remember that I got back the investment of the first exhibition. I became an exhibitor with the two first projects I got back. Even less, like if one project was 1,500 words, I also made a profit. So it was less than this amount. So definitely you can you will be paid off for the amount that you invest in such an event, especially if you do it strategically, if you have tailored content and material to the exhibitors and attendees interest there, you show them that you're the go-to expert, you have a very professional image there and presence live. And of course we're going to talk about natural conversations, because many of you mentioned that that's what you lack. But definitely from your questions, I realize that there's a lot of lack of knowledge of the actual material, print material that you should have with you. And that plays a role so as to build, let's say, that trust with people that they have never heard of you before. And out of the blue there, you contact them. So did we cover about goals, meet existing clients, new clients, see new trends at the market, networking? Yes, definitely you learn new things and you get the new trends in the market. And about international events, what I do usually, Antonia, in my case, I prefer to go to industry live events and exhibitions here in my country, even different cities, but based in Greece, because I can find my biggest direct clients there. But when it comes to networking and learning about my industry with other colleagues, I prefer the international events, because here locally, the ones are not that, let's say, informative. I try to go there as well, but when I learn many new things are those that they happen usually abroad, and they're foreign language industry events. Thank you guys for your questions. Thank you for being so interactive today. That's a pleasure of mine, and happy to see familiar faces here, my mentees and so on. So any more questions about the goals? Something you would like to add, Ileana, about goals and strategy?
No, if we don't have any question, we can go on.
So
So
you can take
we,
screenshots here as well about what is a cover letter. Cover letter is a short presentation, benefits, special offer. I think, Ileana, you mentioned that. That's why I'm going fast here.
yeah. So
And also you
the
mentioned about the
documents, you can print them, or you can have them on a USB. So depending on yes,
or a
depending on
QR
you,
code that they can scan if it's a text mail.
yes, or with the QR code.
So you mentioned a cover letter, business cards, portfolio, that everything can be in a USB, very clever. And then it's
Yes,
an investment in time and
yes,
money. Yes, you invest your time, definitely your money, means of transport, time, hours, days,
yes. It
printing.
depends on your time and of course on money, because as we already explained, you can choose to visit, for example, yes, local or domestic, let's say, exhibitions, or you can go abroad, and then in that case, you have to think about travel and accommodation and so on. So,
But usually abroad really pays off, because there is not even one trip that I have, let's say, I have invested in my life that I didn't come back with many new ideas. Even it was a business trip or just for holidays, I always come up with so many new ideas when I travel, especially abroad. So definitely, I see it as an opportunity for me to broaden my mind and the way I think, to change my minds and come back with a lot of energy and new ideas to implement to my business. So here you have some very, very important information, Liana.
Yes, of course, you have to check the exhibitors list because if there are so many, you have to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to focus on your yes, on your specialization and on your let's say on some countries. For example, I translate from German and English into Italian, and so I focus on German, let's say German speaking countries like
Okay.
Germany,
What usually
Austria.
countries there are at your at the events that you're interested in? What usually countries you see there?
There are countries all over the world. So
Oh, okay, that's huge.
if of course, if we are speaking about English speaking countries, of course,
Mhm.
you can focus from UK to Asia, China, Australia, and so on. So it's really up to you. So it depends on the time you would like to dedicate to it.
Mhm.
And yes, and of course, well, for example, if you visit, for example, only a little quantity of
Mhm.
exhibitors directly,
Mhm.
you can do, for example, also a marketing campaign once you are back or before the exhibition. And you can, for example, focus other countries if you don't have the time to visit them all on the exhibition,
Exactly. Exactly.
for
Sometimes
example.
we don't have the time, especially if it's an investment and you only spend one day. So if you don't have the time, do it strategically. Again, check the exhibitors list, make priority. I always put like the 10 first I would like definitely to meet, then like
Yeah,
then they can check on priority, and then the rest that I would like just to make my presence there, but they are not like the 21st I would like to check. So always prioritize that just to save time. You can
yeah, of
always find
course.
online the list of the exhibitors. It's always publicly said,
Yeah,
and that's a great way to find potential clients. Even if you don't attend live the exhibition, you can always create a marketing campaign, as Ileana mentioned either before or after the event, even if you don't attend. But if you attend, you get higher chances of actually being remembered and
yeah,
gain some jobs and clients through this opportunity. Another hack
and
Liana just mentioned is actually the location. So you need to find out and distinguish the clients not only about the type of clients like small SMEs or bigger clients, but also the location, especially depending on the language combinations you would like to get clients from. So you can always check the pavilions, as Ileana mentioned, or the divisions. You can find that also online, publicly said. And if it's not publicly said, if you are an attendee, you will get access to this information. If there
yeah,
are
of
any new
course.
products or awards, it's a good idea you mentioned there to make your presence live there. Is that correct, Ileana? Because most probably they will have work for you. Is that correct? That's why
Yes, of course,
they're here.
because if after you have searched the exhibitors list, and you visit their website, you will find something for sure to speak about on
Exactly.
at the exhibition. So, for example, if they launch a new product, or for example, if they will get an award, for example, directly at the exhibition, or I don't know. So there's always something interesting if you look at their website.
So that comes as a reply to Genevieve's question that she says, I suppose my main problem as an introvert is how to get into a natural conversation with a potential client. So Genevieve, one way is to be prepared. So you can take a look at the exhibitors list. You can find out the ones that you think that they are your ideal clients, and you can be prepared of a topic you would like to discuss with them. As Ileana just gave some examples, like a new product they are launching, or maybe a new, I don't know, campaign that they're making in your local market, or is it something that they were awarded with, or is it the same? The topic of the exhibition itself is on a specific topic. Usually, in my experience, just to help you with this, Genevieve, there are also topics during a very big exhibition. So maybe also there are speakers there. So maybe
Yeah,
someone talks about a topic. So you can always follow up regarding their presentation at the conference part of the exhibition. You can always find something on the news about the company just to break the ice, let's say. So you need to find something they would be interested in discussing with you, and usually it's about them and not your services. When
Yeah, of course.
usually and normally they're going to ask back you what you do, then you can present yourself. The other way that's really clever, and usually let me know, Ileana, if this happened in Bologna and in Italy in general. Here in Greece, the biggest exhibitions, they have a calendar where you can book appointments with your potential clients. So
Yeah, of
you can
course.
pre-book the appointment, and that's for business opportunities. So they see what you do beforehand, they know what you do. So if they accept that appointment to be booked with them, so you know that they most probably be interested in what you do. And the main reason for booking that appointment with you is to exchange services, most probably, or to do business, because both of you are business people. So that's easier, especially when you're not into, as you mentioned, as an introvert, not into chit chatting. You can always use this feature of exhibitions as to book appointments, and those are pre-booked, which means that you can go prepare with your press kit for 10 potential clients, 20 potential, as many as the platform allows you based on your ticket. And those are pre-booked. So it means that there is a special place, usually here in Greece, Ileana. Let me know how does this happen in your country, where
Yes,
usually
it's
you
the
have
same.
one-to-one booking. Those are tables with one-to-one where you meet them on a specific time.
Yes, it's the same here in Italy, and I think all over the world, because many exhibitions have got their app, and through the app, it is even more, even easier to book the appointment, to book a meeting, and to start interacting with them.
And that was your four step here. So we have
Yes.
the fourth one, which is planning beforehand of your
Yes,
timing.
once
This
you
is really
have the
good.
plan, of course, if you have scheduled meetings, for example, through the app, try to stick to them, because everybody is there to do business, and so of course you can't chat for hours, but only
Mhm.
for I don't know 15 minutes up to 30 minutes in the best of the cases. And so you have to be very, very short and focused to the point. And yes, apart from showing genuine interest, you have to be professional and understand that they are focused on clients. And yes, but you will perceive, because I think the attitude that people have on the booth will reveal you a lot, if they are available or if they are busy, for example. So
Can you give us an example of a very short discussion with a potential client, even when it's good or not, like how you start the conversation, just to give some examples?
well, for example, I always start looking at the products and asking, for example, if I can try them, because of course, being a cosmetics, they are yes, they are normally showed in order to be also tested. And then yes, I start speaking, let's say, about the product, which are, for example, the main characteristics, and so on, which are, for example, the markets in which the product is already sold, and if they plan, for example, to export it
And
in other
usually
countries.
from your experience, are they interested in your questions, so they give you replies thoroughly on these topics?
Yes, yes, well, let's say you have to be really very short,
Mhm.
because of course then they are always busy.
Exactly.
And so if of course there are many chances in which the booth is already full.
Yeah,
And
with
so
visitors, you will be.
and
Yes.
so that's why you have to be very short and very, yes, clever, let's say, in order to understand that yes, once you have shown your interest, I simply leave or the press kit or the USB key with my business card, and then I'm always polite.
Uh-huh.
Don't be pushy, because
Exactly.
otherwise they will reject you.
Exactly.
And yes, I always try to be kind and mm, always smiling. And then
That's very interesting and helpful to share with people, especially when we don't
yes.
know what to discuss. Yes, preparation is the key. And for me, as an advice, as an Genevieve, and all of you that you are wondering how you could start a discussion, is by practicing. Okay, you become more prepared and familiar. So you need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 times and talk to people. Okay, what would be, Ileana, for example, the worst case scenario in your case is to be ignored? That's it. What would be the worst case scenario?
Yes, there are people who are very unpolite, and they told you that they are not interested in your services, and that's it. And then, of course,
It's the moment that you you present yourself and your service. Is that correct?
No, it's or you have two cases. Once they are listening to you, then they will follow you, and then they are really very polite and kind, and they accept, let's say, your offer. Otherwise, they say no at the beginning. Because
Okay, that's the
they
worst case
always
scenario. And
say
so what? And so what? Okay, it's the first time that hurts, but then you are
yes.
professional. And you need to overcome this if you would like to do business with
Yes,
all of
of
us.
course. You have to always thank them. Thank you for your time. So, in case you are interested, I can leave you a short, I don't know, leaflet or something like that, or simply a business card, and then
Exactly.
that's it.
And what I do usually as an exhibitor, because for me it's also very time consuming to visit booths and so on, especially when I'm an exhibitor at the same time, I
Mhm.
hire a few people that they do exactly this for exhibitions. There are some people that they offer their services only during exhibitions to either distribute flyers or to visit booths for you. You achieve bigger numbers that way, but I would suggest you that the top 10 lists or 20 of your clients to be visited by you, because I close a deal and they see me and they understand right away. You build that trust because they see you as the go-to expert. Whereas when someone goes there to advertise your company, if they don't know exactly what to answer to questions, okay, they might note down for you. They might be able to visit more booths, but it's rarely a chance that they're going to close a deal at an exhibition unless you are there. But you can always follow up. And as you have it here as your 5, and I think that's the most important step of your framework here, when you visit an exhibition, what
I-
happens after the exhibition?
Yes, after the exhibitions, you have to contact them all, and yes, write a nice email to thank them and to remind them, for example, the visit that you had on the booth.
Mhm,
And yes, and talking about, for example, the topics that were covered during the conversation.
mhm.
And yes, always be very helpful in order to show that you are their go-to expert, and that you are available not only at the moment, let's say, of the exhibition, but also after that, also in the future,
Exactly.
because you never know what happens, and maybe they don't need your services now or in that moment, but in the future there can be always room for you and for your services. And yes, it's a hard work, because of course the preparation phase and the follow-up are very time
I'm
consuming.
very good at the preparation stage. I really lack time when it comes to follow up, but I can tell you guys, when I also teach LinkedIn prospecting or email marketing or online sales, the deals are closed at the following up. So in order to close a deal with the clients, you need to follow up. Of course, there will be chances that your clients will follow up with you, and especially if they have a project with you, they will come to you. And if you're an exhibitor, most probably you will be the first choice to them. Even if there are other people attending, you will be the first, because they see you more seriously, because you made an investment there. You're an exhibitor, so you have a serious presence there.
Yeah,
You'll
and
be the first priority to be addressed for such services if they need the other exhibitors. But definitely following up, you have the chance, first of all, to add them to your network, and you get higher connection request acceptance rate, because they see the relevancy and they know you, so they will accept your connection request. Secondly, you will have them in your network, which means that you can nurture that relationship with them in the long run, which means through your content or your presence there, whenever they will have a project, they will remember you, will be there for them. So it's easier for them to come back to you whenever an opportunity arises. And the last part is actually that they keep your details, even if the follow-up happens through email or via LinkedIn. they can always, and I definitely suggest both, they can always have your details there. So whenever they have a project for you, they have your details so as to get back to you, because it's good to be present there. It's good to build relationships. But if they don't have your details for some reason, because they're traveling, because life happens in between, they've lost your business card or whatever, you need to be there for them, and they need to remember your details so as to get back to you. That's really important. That happens with
Yeah.
following up. Any more like hacks or tips on following up, Ileana? Something you would like to share?
Yes, remember that after the pandemic, people are more available than before, because after 2 years of
Exactly.
seeing people through screens, the human relationship is always very appreciated. And so if you are kind and polite, and you show your professionalism, it's really a good way to, yes, to gain clients, and to get in touch with people.
Yes, people, they will really appreciate, especially if you do it in a professional way, if you know how to do the following up. And thank you so much, Ileana. Do you have questions? I think there is one last question from Dorota Oles. Dorota asks, what do you mean by a USB key?
A USB key,
I'm sorry.
it's oh, a USB key is a USB in which you can you can charge your PDF documents or Word documents. So it's a, let's say, a technological way of uh,
Do you hand over the USB key, which means that you buy 20 USB keys and you hand over them, or you just give them to take the information from the USB and you take that back with
Well, it's up to you. It's always an investment. So you can decide to have, for example, 100 or 1000 of USB key and to give them to everybody. Or, for example, you can decide to give the USB key only to, I don't know, only to the 10th more important clients. So
So
it's a personal,
yeah, what
it's a
Ileana
personal
mentioned.
choice. I
Exactly.
mean, so
It's also a personal choice, a matter of investment. So it's about having it, the printed material, they're printed, or having all the material in a digital format in a USB key. So Matthew says, thank you for both. This has been really helpful. Where will be the slides or recording available? Yes, on Facebook and on YouTube, Matthew. So I can share with you the links. Send me a DM. Okay, I didn't know the term USB key. I know that is USB. That's the same, okay? That's the same,
okay.
Dorota. That what we use either as a USB key or as a USB alone. So there's a great question about following up. Genevieve says, do you use several follow-ups regularly in order that people do not forget you with time?
Well, I do the follow up once I get back in my office,
Mm-hmm.
so shortly after the event,
Yeah.
and then yes, I do another attempt. Let's say after after, let's say, a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But then yes, as Virginia said, once I have them in my LinkedIn network, then I try to interact with them, not only with through email marketing, for example, but in most of the cases with with genuine and general conversation directly on LinkedIn, and also through the content that
There
I
are
post.
several videos with Ileana where we discuss how Ileana uses LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a powerful means that you can use just to follow up. And Genevieve, my advice would be they don't need several follow-ups. Okay, just one would be enough just to keep you
Yes,
informed. And if they would be interested, they would get back to you, or they will keep your information. Having them in your network on LinkedIn, you don't need to follow up many times. Your presence will be there to be notified whenever you post something or through your activity. So that's easier, and definitely you won't be pushy. And
yeah,
what's really
because
important,
if you are too pushy, then you have the opposite effect. So they will reject you, because if you are too salesy, they don't
exactly.
appreciate you anymore. So yes, I do, let's say, normally once to twice after the event, and that's it.
Once or twice, that's pretty enough. I closed 10K deals and 5-figure deals with just 2 messages on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is very powerful. Email marketing is good because it's traditional way. Some people, they don't use LinkedIn, and always your email remains in their inbox. So through a research, they can find your details. But always remember, as Ileana says here, you are there to offer a solution. For me, the main reason why we don't do this is not because we're introverts or we don't know how to start a conversation or we do not know what is a press kit. We usually are afraid to go to exhibitions. We're afraid to make our presence there visible. We're afraid to go and talk to clients, not because we don't know what to tell to those people. Okay, sometimes that might be a reason as well. But usually it's a mindset block that we have that usually doesn't allow us to take action because we think that we'll be pushy. What if they reject us? But if you think, as Ileana mentioned here, that your first solution is something that they would always looking for, but you made that visible to them, and they would be very grateful for your visit to their booth because they were
Yeah,
looking someone like you and your credentials and your background and your experience, and you just presented yourself in front of them. So it's a matter of the way you think about things. So try not to think negative, okay? Thoughts like, what if they reject? What if I'm pushy? What if, I'm not desirable to be there? And think about what if the moment you're there, they were looking for someone like you. So
yeah.
Annalise Marie says, thanks for the great tips. Virginia, when you say you exhibit, is it as an agency or as a freelancer? Correct, as an agency, as a company. I am exhibitor. Thank you for both for your previous tips, says Valentin. Thank you, Valentin. Where are you watching us from? Nice tips. And thank you, says Genevieve. I hope that you will be attending a new exhibition, Genevieve, and you will be more prepared with the tips that we shared with you today. Let us know, Genevieve, how does this go? We have some question from Veronica, says, sometimes the person in charge of the stand is not a decision maker. Yes, definitely. Is it
Mhm.
worth talking to them about your service anyway? So would you like Ileana to answer this question?
Yes, of course. Marketing, for example, marketing managers are rarely on booths because normally on booth there are always the salespeople. But you can ask them kindly to forward your contact details to the
Exactly.
right person.
Exactly.
And don't forget that in any case, you will do the follow up after the exhibition.
And that's
And
another advice, to use online methods like LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn you can find the decision maker
yeah,
right away. But
yeah,
at the
definitely.
exhibition, it's higher the chances that you will be remembered, because it's nothing can be compared with a natural conversation and relationship that you will build with someone one to one, the chemistry that's in between two people. Whereas online, yes, there might be results. Ileana is very successful at getting right away to the decision maker through LinkedIn because you see the job title there. But you lack, let's say, this physical presence there and chemistry that can be built between two people. That's very normal.
Mhm.
So Genevieve is going amazing too. The IF18 Munich is a good event to go. About what is, Genevieve, this event? I just shared 2 links that you can find here in the chat. One is an international platform where you can find all the events all over the world, and you can divide them per industry. And I said a second one because many of my mentees, they're interested in sports and outdoor. So I just said the biggest events in sports and outdoor brands in Germany happening in 2023 and 24. Just a free gift from me to all of you that you stayed that long. And thank you so much for your interactivity. Thank you, Ileana, so much. Is there anything else you would like to add, Ileana, before we close?
Yes, so as far as the mindset is concerned, so I was also afraid the first time,
Mhm.
because everybody of us has got their first time somewhere and somehow, and so just to try the first time, and then you will
Exactly. The first time it's
adapt.
difficult. After the first time, it's easy.
Yeah, you will adapt the second time and so on. So, but it is important to start somewhere because then it is really easy and you will appreciate, because if you are interested in the specialization, in your specialization, and in the exhibition, of course everything will go so smoothly, and the end of the day comes arrives really very very early, so I always have the impression that time flies
Time
on
flies.
exhibitions.
I
Yeah,
bet.
because you keep speaking and speaking with people and chatting with people,
It's
and it
very
is
energy consuming. People, they cannot realize this.
yes.
I have no voice after such a 2-day or 3-day event. I have no voice. My throat is usually closed because I talk too much to too many people. That's what you do there.
Mm-mm.
It's really important, the planning, as Ileana mentioned. So go back to the slides, watch the recording. You can find on my YouTube channel, Virginia Katsimpiri Official, Mentoring for Translator Facebook group, in the video section. Watch the recording, go through the slides. Ileana, she mentioned exactly how to plan correctly your timings, because it's also really important to take some rest in between. And the preparation stage, which is really, really important. Mindset is 100%, as I always mention, really, really important. It's 80%, because if you keep holding yourself back with such negative thoughts, you will never get out of your comfort zone. And growth, guess what, happens when you get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
If you keep telling yourself, no, I'm okay here, I don't want to meet people, it's really difficult for me to get dressed, to travel, to go and meet people, I don't know what to tell them, go out there. Life happens out there. Growth happens when you get out of your comfort zone. So can't wait to see all of your successes. Thank you so much, everyone. Veronica, Morgan, Laka, I don't know, where are you watching us from? Dorota, Genevieve, Valentine, where are you watching us? France? Again, Anne, Elise, Isabella, so many new faces here. Antonia, Matthew, Aaron, Clement from Athens.
My
So many
God,
new
so many
faces.
people
Oh,
we had
yeah, so many
today.
people. Yes, definitely. I think it was one. Susie, let us know if you will be prepared for your first trade show, as you mentioned here in the chat. Thank you, all of you guys, that you join us from all over the world once again. I'm always grateful, and I'm always really surprised and really happy to make this happen and to see you being here live with us. We're preparing new live session on new topics. If you have more ideas on guest speakers, or if you would like to be a guest speaker, DM me, okay, or send me an email. Bon weekend to us. Susie, great that you find great tips, and I hope, let us know how did your event go that you visited. And Matthew, thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you, everyone. We will be sharing more live sessions. What's the next topic, Ileana, that we're going to prepare? Is there anything that we can share with the people?
There are so many topics we haven't decided yet. But
there is a form that you can fill in with topics that you would be interested in learning from us. So definitely, and if you have any guest speaker you would like me to invite, I would be more than glad. But definitely, we can share our insights on business-related topic to the translation industry. So feel free to fill in the form that you will find in the description box of this live, or you can send me a DM to me directly, or Ileana, if you have any more questions. Ileana, see you in our alumni. We're preparing also an event this summer in Greece with Ileana and Luna, my alumni community managers, and we're going to create a summer event early in the summer on a Greek island, because that's what you've asked me for. And the main purpose of this event will be to brainstorm, to come back with more ideas, to strategize, and of course to network among colleagues on a Greek island, which most of the people say that's a cure. That's not a destination, it's a cure.
Yeah.
Feel free to DM us if you're interested, because it's a closed group for my alumni, but I would be willing to accept 7 or 10 more people. If you would like to join us on a private event, retreat, mastermind retreat, coaching retreat on a Greek island for 3 to 5 days, early in June, that we're preparing, and we would be happy to assist you with accommodation and, of course, flights, details, and travel tips. Ileana, thank you once again. Very professional. Thank you for sharing your tips and your expertise. You can find Ileana on LinkedIn and on her website.
Yes, if you have any more questions, please ask us under the event, or you can
you can use the chat below and tag me or Ileana. Definitely, we're both members in the Mentoring for Translators group, and Ileana is also the community manager there. And of course, on LinkedIn and my YouTube channel, the live will remain there. You can watch the recording, and if you're watching the recording, use #recording, tag me or Ileana, and we will get back to you to answer any questions. Any new live sessions on my newsletter. So all the recordings and details are also in my newsletter. So if you would like to be subscribed to my newsletter, you can find vmentoring.com. Okay, and subscribe so as to receive news, or you can download my free ebook, which is vmentoring.com/ebook, so as you to be notified for any news such live events. So this is the subscribe to my newsletter on my website, the first page, homepage. Hope to see you there. 4,000 people, Ileana, on the newsletter. 4,000 people, 2,000 people in the Mentoring for Translators group. So it's a huge community. Thank you for your support, guys. Thank you for being live with us. Have a great weekend. Ileana,
thank you so much.
And we
Thank you
close
so much.
live.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.